street, living side by side. The lonely times have not been kind, kept apart by concrete walls. Your voice comes floating down the hall.
Historically, rural areas aren't the safest places for queer people. As a queer person in a small town, it can often feel like you're in it alone. There was a while there where I thought that Joe and I were the only queer men in town. Thanks, Joe. And the more that I settle into this community, the more I've been asking myself what it is about towns like this that can often be so uncomfortable for people like us. I think I've always struggled as a queer photographer in the outdoor sports industry because it's a place where I never felt like I really belong. My name is Ryan Collins. I'm a cis gay man, and I live in Revelstoke, British Columbia. I grew up before the legalization of gay marriage. I grew up getting called a faggot in the change room. And I grew up with media that had gay people living in secret or in the closet, or they were victims. Looking back now, I really internalized a lot of those values and assumptions about gay people or queer people that I made based off of my childhood. And I definitely carried those with me as an adult into my professional life. There's this cis heteronormative archetype in the outdoors world that's been bred through media and mountain culture. I think I viewed my sexuality as a disadvantage in outdoor spaces. And for a long time, I felt this need to prove myself, not only professionally, but also physically, because I didn't want anyone to think that I didn't belong because of this one part of my identity that made me different. That pressure that I put on myself is what originally led me to question how queerness interacts with the outdoor world. And I ended up getting funding to do a research project on the impacts of professional outdoor athletes coming out. And it was through that project that I first met Bruce.
Growing up in the snowboard world, definitely didn't feel comfortable being myself. Snowboarding was always known as this kind of bro, macho, wild kind of scene, and there was no place for being open with sexuality. At least that's how I felt, and I think it's safe to say other athletes felt the same way. My name is Bruce Johnston. I'm a snowboarder, and I live in Pemberton, British Columbia. Sexuality is a hard one for me to talk about. Probably 5 years ago, Ryan had asked me to be a part of a project he was working on revolving around queer athletes. And at the time, I said I'd be a part of it, but I just wanted to remain anonymous. It's harder for queer people in a small town because everyone talks. I feel like I don't want to be the center of anyone's conversation, especially regarding sexuality. I don't really put a label on it. My friends and family don't really expect me to, and I just kind of live my life. I think snowboarding is maturing. We're a new sport, and we're growing up. There's queer athletes in the mainstream snowboard world, and I think that's what snowboarding and extreme sports need is more acceptance and people that are willing to be themselves.
Locked in a stalemate, man was no stuck in a hard place, he's better in control. What am I waiting for? Feet planted beneath my compass, my transport.
I hadn't seen Bruce in a number of years, and I think that reconnecting with him this fall is what initially led me to decide that I was going to spend this season trying to find a queer community of my own.
Figuring out who you are is a really messy process that never really ends, and we're not alone in it, but we can feel very alone. My name is Jasmine Clancy. I go by Jazz or Baberade. I am queer. I'm an exploration geologist and a ski coach. I moved to Revelstoke January of 2016 on a whim, and I've stayed here since. The town is a mix of proper industry blue collar and then digital nomads, I guess, who are quite open-ish. I frequently squirm about my sexuality because I don't think I'm queer enough for this town. That is a very interesting part of living in a small mountain town, is to do anything you gotta really go big and do it, or you're not trying hard enough. Spent a lot of years of my life feeling very alone, and yeah, I think part of that is not acknowledging and leaning into my sexuality and gender expression. Takes a lot of security in your sense of self to swim upstream and boldly be different. But it doesn't always feel safe, especially in a town where it's very same and self-similar.
I think if there's one thing that most queer people can relate to, it's loneliness. You grow up adapting to the environment around you, and by the time that you're old enough to understand who you are, you've already developed this identity, and at that point, you really don't want to leave that identity. You've learned how to live safely as that person, and it's who the people in your life know you as, and stepping away from that version of yourself and being honest about who you are is one of the hardest things that queer people often have to do.
I honestly feel like the more closely that you associate yourself with men and with degrading women, that makes you stronger in the eyes of the ski world. My name is Lily Bradley, and I am a professional competition skier in freeride. Developing as a skier in Tahoe was such an incredible experience, because you grow up just surrounded by so many living legends within the professional sport community. But I definitely felt at odds with the bro, jock, preposterously full of yourself culture of Palisades. growing up as a girl and as like a queer person in the ski world, you know, the F slurs like thrown around just frequently, and you're like, don't be gay, bro, don't be a pussy. I really internalized that to be feminine and to be a girl is to be weak. And so the more that like I could disassociate myself from femininity and put myself on the side of men, it felt like I was less weak. The magic of skiing is that it's the most incredible mental health tool. But there's just so much gatekeeping and elitism. And the whole culture kind of needs to shift in order to make more room for other people in the ski world.
You sometimes have to toe this line between wanting to be authentic to yourself, but also wanting to be safe. There's a long history of violence against queer people in rural areas. And that's definitely something that many queer people, especially those in the trans community, have to take into account on a daily basis.
Because marginalized communities have so many more barriers they have to go through. Their mountain, although you can't really see it, it can be and generally is larger than some of the other mountains people climb. My name is Janet Wong. My pronouns are they, them, and I identify as queer and non-binary. One of the things that I find difficult is whether or not to come out to the backcountry partners that I'm with about my gender, because it's something that I feel like people don't really understand, and if they do try to understand, they don't quite get how to respond to it. It's a psychological safety that's not quite there. Last winter, I was a participant on the Open Mountains Project Introduction to Backcountry Ski program.
We're super stoked to have everyone out on the snow today.
It was a really eye-opening experience because I never thought I could be in the backcountry like that, where I could let my guard down. And this year, I'm a tail guide for the Cutie BIPOC Backcountry Ski program.
See how this thing comes out of the hole?
Yeah.
You want to pull it up
Oh, it goes
middle, and then that's it. It
Oh my
just
God,
stays
that's
right
really-
there in
okay.
the center.
I think programs like Open Mountains is important because it brings the community together. And it's not easy to be in these spaces or even want to start doing mountain sports because they can be really intimidating places, and having a similar background and knowing that somebody has gone through similar struggles and similar barriers, there's a point to relate to. And to know that somebody can overcome that really inspires others.
I think there's a lot to be gained from spending time in the outdoors, but I think we all consume so much media that really paints this picture of performance and elitism and doesn't really pay enough focus to the rest of everyday life. And I think there was a part of me that always struggled with how the work that I was doing was maybe contributing to this issue. But I got an email from Katie Burrell, who I had reached out to, and I ended up working with her and Colleen Gentman for the better part of 2 years.
Me and Jimmy can her.
I really appreciated what Katie and Colleen were doing.
For the first time ever in history, people can suck now because of me.
Making the outdoors an accessible place and really just celebrating the everyday recreationalist.
I'm not happy.
Opened my eyes to the fact that I wasn't the only person who was feeling a friction with this image that was portrayed the outdoor industry. And it was working with KBTV that opened my eyes to a way to work in the outdoor industry that still felt meaningful, but allowed me to stay true to myself.
My name is Hank. I am a skier and I'm a co-founder of Open Slopes PDX.
Don't be afraid to take a space. Don't be afraid to take a space.
I'm a queer person and I'm a non-binary person, and those aspects of my identity do come as a source of friction in the ski community. The industry has really created a marketing image that ultimately results in a space that is not very inclusive of queer people, and especially of queer and trans people of color. So much of free skiing and snowboarding was built on a rejection of rigidity in competitive spaces. We're really a snow sports community that should be rooted in radical acceptance and allowing people to express themselves freely. So for me, the best thing that I feel like I can do and that I hope that other people can do is to be just loudly and openly themselves, to not try to conform to the expectations of other people around them, and if possible, to create spaces that are not necessarily exclusively for us, but are intentionally for us.
Why did we start Queer Shred? Let's find out. Yeah, when we first started Queer Shred, numbers were limited, but over the past 2 years, I guess it really has grown.
It's been really great to hang out with other queers and feel safe in that space. Being queer in the world is still not easy, and it's been really great to just get together and feel that community and feel that strength that you can gain from each other.
I love the idea of it being space for everybody, level-wise, not just shredders, not just athletes.
Shred is really, what does shred mean? Anything.
Shred means shred in your life.
Yeah.
I think that for anyone who feels a little bit different, a small town can easily feel like a place where you maybe have to tread lightly. But I've come to understand that the value of community doesn't come from the number of people that you have around you, but by how you can support one another. There's a large lack of diversity, even amongst queer people in both rural and outdoor settings. And I think that any story that gives a voice to someone outside of the majority can only make room for other people to do the same. And I think I'm leaving this season with a better understanding of the kind of outdoor industry I want to be a part of, and maybe how I can help get it there.
So sing to me, Jane. I don't know your name, but that's alright, that's okay. I don't know your name, but you're everything. You're all I have someday, and that's okay.
I think it's important for young people to have role models that they can relate to. That was kind of my objective, is maybe a younger kid sees this and will feel more comfortable being themselves and not put the skis or snowboards away because they feel like they can't be themselves.
My friend recently was on a date with someone and she was telling them that she was queer. And they asked her, what is that like for you? And she kind of explained to them, well, it's like you live in Florida and you're really into skiing, but you live in Florida, so you never really talk about it. And that's definitely what being queer in this town is like.
When did I start realizing that I was queer? Whenever the first time I watched Pirates of the Caribbean and there's Elizabeth Swann, Pirate King transformation, that's probably pretty integral to the process, I would say.
I mean, if someone like sees this film in the States and wants to like come across and we can maybe get married, that'd be cool.
It's just really important for me to uplift these people, but also just to get them participating, get started. And the more we have these programs, the more people are able to connect with each other and build spaces that are different than what is currently out there.
The depth and the meaning of finding your people when you don't have that many people, period, is really rewarding. And I think that it really like enables meaningful relationships and intentional relationships.
They're just
Get
more
outside.
fun to ski with, yeah. They're just more fun.
Find the queers, bring them together, shoot them down the hill.